Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're talking in Just Like That news. So we got a couple of things that you guys have been wonderful enough to send me. We're going to be talking about Samantha Irby, our favorite writer from In Just Like That. And then we're going to switch over to Nicole Ari Parker on Watch What Happens Live. We're going to be talking about what's going on with HBO Max on Twitter. But first, you guys have been so much fun in the comments. We had such a good episode on Thursday. I can't believe I talked for 42 minutes. I had so many comments saying you like them longer, so guess what? I'll keep doing that. If you're into it, I'm listening. Also, I do have a poll up you can click on my page on YouTube. There's a community tab. Click on that. You can see a poll about what other shows you'd like me to talk about. And if you are into Instagram, I need you to hang out to the end of this video because I need your help with something. So here we go. Before we jump into it, I did want to let you know I have a Patreon now, so check that out. Patreon.com/Real Housewives Recap, and you'll find my logo and you'll find us. So take a look at that, see if it works out. The first episode's free. You can watch it here on YouTube. After that, you can check them out on Patreon. We're doing the original Sex and the City series. So let's start out with Samantha Irby, and if you're not sure who I'm talking about, I am so serious. You have to get your eyes on my Writers Podcast episode, especially I think it's episode 1. I go into who she is and what's going on. But to put it in a nutshell, and guys, you just have to hear her talk because you'll thank me. Okay, so in a nutshell, she is a writer. She's 41 years old. They brought her on, and she is very much the voice of Che, it appears to all of us. But you guys brought my attention to this article. She apparently has a newsletter. I'm seriously asking who is subscribing to this newsletter. And you guys, there's this article out about it. Now, I will say in the title of this article, there is a serious topic. Clearly, when we talk about these things, we are talking amongst friends about how we feel about the show and how awful it is and all that. I can't even say the title of this, you can see it on your screen. I wouldn't wish this on anybody. That's a totally different subject matter. No content is bad enough to deserve something like that. Now, that's not where I'm going with this. What I'm going to is this article broke down. Apparently Samantha Irby has a newsletter. You guys, you just need to get your eyes on this newsletter. Okay. I'm not trying to nitpick here, but this is a writer of the show, and the first thing that I notice in this newsletter, because you can see it's quoted in this article here, is she doesn't use any capital letters. There's lowercase i's, and I'm the worst writer ever, but I'm not a writer. She is a writer, and this is how her newsletter looks. That was the immediate thing that jumped out, but let's go into what she actually says in this article. I have to admit I'm a little broken, Irby writes in her newsletter, and they pointed out as well, avoiding the use of capital letters for some reason. I don't think I understood when offered the opportunity to work on a show whose VHS tapes were my constant companion when I was 19, the enormity of what I was saying to. This is literally quoting for her. I'm not misreading it. That's how she's writing this. I obviously understood that the show had major cultural impact and was beloved across a wide spectrum of people, but I was not ready for the magnitude of ... discourse there would be, ? And that's on me. The part of this that I really want to draw your attention to is the last line here. Please stop yelling at me. I'm powerless over these decisions. So she's clearly distancing herself. She talks about the production being a giant totem, and she's at the bottom of it. So, again, not taking any responsibility. As far as I'm concerned, the worst part of this whole thing has been the writing. Yes, the production is awful as well, but the writing is the glaring, the elephant in the room. But yet, she's here pointing out that people are saying they don't like the wardrobe. Yes, that's true. We don't like the wardrobe, but it doesn't matter if they were dressed to the nines. Just dressed completely perfectly. the writing is what's, to me, the glaring, I mean, it's just the problem with this series. So it's interesting that this is coming out now. So many of you have pointed out, we've seen Kristen Davis and Cynthia Nixon out doing the press tour. We have not seen anything from Sarah Jessica Parker, Radio Silence, right? And I tried to look up Michael Patrick King to see if he's put out a similar statement. I keep waiting for him to distance himself and blame something else. Now, I have heard rumblings that they're blaming Chris Noth's situation on the abysmal reviews and ratings that this show is getting. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting, this Samantha Irby stuff. I thought you'd like to get your eyes on it. So from there, we go over to Watch What Happens Live. Now, Andy Cohen had on Isla Fisher and Nicole Ari Parker, who of course plays LTW. If you're not a Bravo fan, if you don't know what this is, it's just a fun show. I actually do watch this show quite a bit, where he has on guests that are on, hot TV shows or on his reality shows, that sort of thing. And they play games, answer questions. It's kind of fun sometimes. And sometimes you can get the juice or the dirt. So I thought, I'll give it a listen and just see if she reveals anything about the show or any juicy tidbits, anything that we would find fascinating. You guys, it was a snooze. Andy pitched her softball questions, which that's not a shocker. He does that. I know I get a lot of hate because I cover housewife stuff, but it's fine. I'm kind of taking a step back from that anyway. It's getting a little bit old, but he talks. Yeah, you just have to listen. I actually recorded a little bit of it so you can hear it. This was literally the only questions that he really got into, and just like that. It's only 32 seconds long, so just stick with it and we'll talk about it afterwards.
We are requesting the honor of your participation in answering our most pressing questions. So were you a fan of the original Sex and the City?
I was. I really love the friendship. I love the lunch scenes where all the girls would get together and just work it all out.
What was it like for you when fans thought that you were going to be replacing Samantha? That was the early kind of buzz when they heard you were in the show.
Oh my God, I hadn't experienced this level of psychotic fandom ever.
Right.
So I just found some things interesting about this. Literally, this is the only information she gave up about the show. I don't love her calling psychotic fandom. I don't like calling that out. I don't think loving the show and following it all these years makes anybody psychotic fandom. I'm sure she gets some outliers, but I just thought that was a weird way to say that. Now, as far as she goes, I'm not trying to hate on her. I understand she's an actress that came on the show. She did not write the script. I don't mind her on the show. I think the character itself is a little bit weird with the whole French fries thing right off the bat, but she's neither here nor there for me. I think she's stunning to look at, so at least it gives us, at least we have that, and they're not dressing her as bad as the other ones, but I just think it's interesting that clearly Andy's been trained not to ask any questions of any substance to her about it, and they've been coached not to say anything. Literally nothing came out of this interview except for this. The only other thing she mentioned was she loved all the things that they dressed her in, and she could look at these different purse options and pick which one she thought looks best. But that was it. That was literally all we got. So they're putting, these actresses out there to try to get press for the show, but they're not giving anything of substance there either because, honestly, they just don't have anything to give. And then lastly, stuff was going down on Twitter last night. I actually had several of you DM me and tell me to get my eyeballs on it. What was happening was HBO Max had started turning off the comments and just like that. Now, the reason that's interesting is because when you look at HBO Max Twitter, they tweet 100 million billion things all the time. It's like every 5 seconds. I can't keep up. And it's about every other show on their network, especially this new, I wish I remember the name of it. I don't. It's the new John Cena show that just came out. Well, they have 1 million tweets about that. They barely tweet about and just like that. And when they do, I was alerted, and I wish I had screenshotted. They had said it because there's a notification on there that said only people HBO Max follows can reply to this tweet. So there was 2 tweets back, and they were totally kiss-assy. Well, this morning when I went back to get screenshots for this, they had turned that feature back off. But they are so heavily editing out any negativity that there's like 3 tweets under them, and it's kind of funny. Now, on a side note, I did find where some of them had gotten through, and they kind of made me laugh. So here's like the only tweet I could find recently about and just like that. It's, of course, we know Charlotte in this outfit making this face, helping Carrie go through her boxes. To try to get more attention under it, they tweeted themselves and says, and just like that, the new chapter of Sex and the City streaming on HBO Max. The only tweet that they allowed through and approved on this one was, please let there be a second city for And Just Like That. Okay, so obviously somebody that's connected with the show or just some, kiss ass got that one through, but they won't approve anything else. They did have one other thing up recently about And Just Like That, and some comments had snuck in, and it made me laugh because they haven't caught it and blocked them yet. But Sex and the City was a great show. The sequel is unfortunately terrible. And one of you guys, I'm assuming, tweeted this series an epic dumpster fire. So that's the news from the week. The only other thing that somebody brought to my attention, and thank you for that, is that there are quote-unquote fans of Miranda and Che, and they are calling them Chambo. And that made me want to barf a little bit. I tried to look up comments about that. I could not find them, but if you have something funny, please send it my way. I love recapping these things and finding out all the news. If you have a funny article you want me to see, if there's any way you can tell me what publication you saw it in, that helps me out. And yeah, just let me know if you have anything. And lastly, Grandma Jen here needs your help with a project. So I am terrible at Instagram. I set it up forever ago just to have a placeholder, and I just logged in and realized I have a bunch of followers. Yay, if you follow me, thank you so much. I've never used Instagram. I'm going to be embarrassed here in a minute. I don't know how to use Instagram. So if you're good at it, please message me here if you have 2 minutes to spare to help Grandma Jen, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I want to get this thing set up, and I want to be able to talk to you guys, but I want to grow my show. I need help. If you are good at this, just let me know. Just send me an email if you're willing to help me. I would forever be grateful and appreciate you, and I promise I won't take too much of your time. Just send me an email. Thank you so much. That's it for the news for the week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I sincerely appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate every single comment. They have been on fire lately. So much fun to read, and I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And I have lots of videos coming out, so stay tuned and check back a lot. And I will talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.